shit, I should probably eat something first. Carrion is a reverse horror experience developed by Phobia Game Studio and published by Devolver Digital, who've brought us such violent-as-hell indie gems as Hotline Miami, Katana Zero, and Ape Out. Does it live up to the quality of those games? Well, let me tell you.
When describing this game, I'd actually say that in complete honesty, this is a somewhat linear Metroidvania with a horror atmosphere. If you don't know what a Metroidvania is, it's commonly a 2D platformer with a large focus on exploration and backtracking. Carrion doesn't have any real platforming, but pretty much everything else about it fits the genre. Let's talk about the good stuff first. More specifically, the atmosphere. The music here is pretty fantastic, and the sounds of our squishy tentacle horror monster are on point. Couple that with some tasty, right, maybe not that tasty pixel art, you got yourself one hell of a combination. One specific thing the game does that I really admire is the signs. Throughout the game, these signs change messages based on your destructive progress. Specifically, sometime after you get the ability to mind control the humans, the signs change from saying kill anything that doesn't look human to kill anything suspicious that moves. As well as that, from what I could tell, the AI doesn't trust your commandeered humans from there on out. It helps to establish the humans as smarter than the AI generally acts. Getting to the gameplay, I really enjoyed it. The combat is generally small scale, with very few true threats, but that doesn't keep it from being entertaining. Approaching different enemy types at different levels of biomass can vastly change your playstyle from being a calculated shadow of death to a hulking mass of weight capable of snapping dudes like twigs with a single slam. Personally though, I prefer shooting webs and feeling like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Performance was also really solid. I played on a MacBook Pro.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people.
And the frame rate was consistent. Hell, I played the demo for this on a 2015 MacBook Air a couple months ago, and it ran fine there too. In terms of glitches, there was only one I found, where an NPC in a flashback didn't unspool a C4 fuse like he was supposed to, and I was left running around wondering what the fuck I did wrong. Thankfully, after restarting the game, this didn't happen again, and on a second playthrough, I haven't been able to reproduce what happened there, so maybe I just got lucky. I do have to talk about the shit I don't like, though. The Metroidvania elements can feel pretty half-assed. The game's almost entirely linear, with not much left to actually explore on your own. Even with it being this straightforward, getting confused is pretty easy. There's a baffling lack of a map, and some puzzles will stump players due to the fact that the game doesn't always explain its mechanics well. Also, the decision to restrict your abilities behind different levels of health is questionable at best. This design choice is ingrained into most levels, as you'll find yourself usually starting any given area by depositing biomass and the game locking the door behind you so you can't regain it. It makes sense why this was done, but it also limits your combat options, which is pretty irritating. And the story, or what shreds there are of one, is pretty whack. This is the kind of game that doesn't really need a story, but the developers still inserted mandatory flashback sequences that, considering how the game ends, probably aren't flashbacks at all. They most likely take place after the game ends, and all 3 times they happen, they feel kinda out of place. These were probably made to tie up loose ends in the narrative, but most likely, no one knew where to put them, so they just occasionally have you crawl into these weird machines that might let you see the future, and have you be a human for a little bit.
That said, I'd recommend the experience overall. If you're looking for a simpler Metroidvania to ease yourself into the genre, or if you've ever just wanted to be a horror movie monster, this is the game for you. For me, this is getting 7.5 insatiable biomasses out of 10.
What, that score wasn't good enough for you?